What is going on, guys? What is going on? Welcome to this week's what the hell is that? Welcome to this week's episode 144 of the STS Guys. I am Jeremy.
And I'm Scott.
And
we are the STS guys.
We are the STS guys. Hey, it's still guys. There are two of us.
Right, it's not just one. And by the way, what you were hearing, Jeremy, was me putting the cap back on, which I think counts as the bingo square.
I think it does count as the bingo square. So make sure to grab your bingo cards out. Podcast bingo / STS guys. I think that's the address, anyways.
Let's hope we don't do the shilling very well. So I apologize to anybody watching.
No, you know what though? Like I said, it's one of those things to where, like, I've been drinking, and there's only two of us. So it's gonna be a good time, just because that's the way it works.
That's the way of the world.
Look, and then Heather Bradshaw, 2 guys, 1 podcast. Sounds kind of dirty.
So first off, I'm gonna say, just because this is kind of the shtick, and I've still yet to figure out when to actually put this in here. But she brings up say 2 guys, 1 podcast. The last time it was just me and Jeremy. This little gem is what came from it. It's been a week.
It gets me every time.
It does. It really, really does. Oh man, it's quite enjoyable. So that was the last time that we were together, and yeah, Manny, welcome to the chat, man. Good to see you here. I still don't know really when to pull that in, because it's such a departure from everything. I have the best. I shouldn't say the best. It's been a week story, but
real quick before we go on, our entire podcast is a departure from everything.
That is true, 100% true. Right, so that works. But as you notice, I'm hoping, fingers crossed, we're going to test it today. I made some purchases and some improvements to the internet in the house. I am hoping that everything goes better and goes smoother than it did last week, because I was getting real mad last week.
So I went back and watched that one. And dude, like I said, it was a nightmare.
It was, dude. Oh my God. It was so awful. I was getting so angry. You could see it in my face.
It was a nightmare. Well, real quick, before we go on, cheers, Scott. Like I said, I actually busted out the whiskey today just for you, my friend. Like I said, so cheers.
Oh, we got the Geek Together raid coming in.
All right.
How's it going, everybody?
Together. Yeah. So no, it's a world of difference with your internet now.
Yeah.
I said your potato has sprouted.
I got sprouts. It's becoming a plant, right? Yeah. Like at this point, yeah. Finally solved. I'm gonna say I've solved the internet issues. We'll see though.
Well,
we'll see, because I who knows, and in a little bit I might just and freeze again. I'll get real pissed off.
And honestly, said it could be like the problem we were running into earlier today, right? So
right.
So one thing I said that a lot of people don't know, right? So you have, like I said, the power grid. So you have the eastern United States, the western United States, and then Texas.
Texas has its own.
Texas has its own power grid.
So Texas planned on seceding at some point and built their own power grid. It's 100% why they have it. So,
but apparently though, like I said, that whole network was experiencing some issues earlier, just because like we kept on getting like rolling brownouts, like where like the power would go out like every 10 minutes.
And it was even weirder because it was like it actually tripped a couple of my breakers. Like, so I thought there was like a power surge going on, but like that's why I texted Jeremy. I was like, please tell me there's internet issue or like power issues at your house. So because I was like, I just bought this house. I don't need power issues. Like this is gonna suck. Yeah. I'm gonna pull something up here. Something from our one and only Larry. Yes, Jeremy's wall looks so boring. It does. For anybody who doesn't know, Jeremy has nothing behind him. It is just a blank wall. When he pulled it up, I was like, oh God, Jeremy's in prison and he's doing the show.
all I got to do is bust out my harmonica, and go sit on my steel toilet. But no, it's like I said, it's I'm actually having some house painters come. So I bought this house a year and almost 2 years ago now. A year and a half, 2 years.
Larry says, internet really sucks here, by the way. He's in that same Bodunk town that I stayed in last time. So, I know. And I know how. Welcome to my world.
Yeah.
So,
so I needed to paint this house, like I said, when we moved in. Like I said, but I wanted to get moved in first. And so now I said things have settled down. I said the Rona hit, and so I'm like, you know what? Now's the perfect time to actually have the house painted. So it was I said we're getting the house painted, so it'll get the fresh coat of paint. So I still have all my stuff. So I've now basically pack ratted it up into the middle of the room. So like I said, look at that fun pile of stuff. So that is a segue into my spend week story.
That is an impressive just pile of shit. Like,
yeah,
that is truly an impressive pile of crap.
Well, and the funny thing, right? So as I start like moving this stuff, I'm like this stuff has been like out in the room, right?
So Mocking Lazarus said, "Hey, Jeremy, I received my STCC prize. The comic and art are awesome."
Awesome.
So,
glad you got it.
Speaking of prizes, actually, I gotta jump in. I haven't seen him on here, but I do believe I saw some of the guys in the chat from the Dorksman, or at least potentially in here. I got another letter in the mail. I'm gonna see if I can hide my address here, just because I don't want to show anybody's thing. Give me a second.
You don't want to show them where Batman lives?
Exactly. I got a letter in the mail addressed to. How do I fucking do this? There you go, Lord Scott. That was great to wonder what everyone at the mail. Manny says that must be Clint. That was Clint that sent that. Yes. So I got some Dorksman, some stickers. I got the metallic one, which is really, really cool. But they know I'm a fan of my drinkies. Right there, it's kind of hard to see. But yeah. I got a magnet.
Nice.
So a magnet from my beer fridge. So that was quite awesome. Yeah. Nice. As my wife said, Lord Scott made his life. I was very happy. I get the thing where the mail sends me like a scanned image of all my letters before I get them in the day.
Yeah, like, isn't that weird? Like,
it's so cool. But when I saw, I was like, one's coming from. I didn't even look at who it was, and I saw, Clint's name, and I was like, I know why he did that. But I saw that there was one addressed to me that was like coming to Lord Scott, and I was like, that must be more prize winnings. So
no, so that's awesome though. Like I said, the stickers are great. So I said I'm gonna have to hit up the old 4D for some stickers. See what I can do, because I need to adorn. I said my fridge also. I said with some our fellow podcaster network stickers or magnets.
And if any of you guys have magnets, I got the beer fridge. I cannot do the point behind me thing. There's awesome. Plenty of space on the beer fridge, so I'll definitely show off here. As you guys probably can tell, Jeremy and I don't actually have a topic. There is nothing that really came up. So we're just gonna basically just kind of just do what Jeremy and I do for most of the part when we're together.
Drink and make fools of ourselves.
Drink and make fools of ourselves. Exactly. So I told you, Jeremy, that I got one of the greatest random text messages I've ever got. It is the worst attempt at phishing I have ever received.
Nice. Okay.
So
lay it down.
So I'm going to lay it down here. So it says, "Hey, this is Vanessa. ... How's it going? How have you been? Text stop to end." Like, they actually put in the opt out into the.
But like the funny thing over is, right? I said, there's some like lonely soul, like Vanessa texts me. I'm like, why would I want this to stop?
Yeah, like it's like, wait. I get the people trying to pretend that they know me. Like, they I get it, right? Like they do it all the time. But the fact that they included the opt-out message and that is an option, I'm not going to respond to say stop because then they're going to know like I received it and they're going to keep bombarding me with different numbers. The other question I have is, when they send it out, do they do different names? Or is it always Vanessa? Like, did they come through like everybody knows a Vanessa? Or did they just pick like...
See, I think that's putting more thought into it. Like I said, if they had like a specialized name, like, you know what, if they did like some type of algorithm, like, hey, you know what, Scott and Vanessa, hey, that could work.
Well, I was just wondering if they looked at like a thing of like, what is the most common like name across like, my number is a Tucson number, right? So they're probably like, in Tucson that would hit English, Spanish, and all that. Like, what is the name that would be the closest one to everybody's? And I think they chose Vanessa.
Well, they can't use Karen anymore.
Yeah. That's true. But everybody knows a Karen.
I actually know a Karen. She's actually very, very sweet. So I actually feel bad for her.
I have a very nice Aunt Karen, actually. So it's yeah. Ed says Jamiroquai. I mean, everybody knows a Jamiroquai, so that's gonna there's too many of those. People will actually start to get confused. But yeah, it was the weirdest text message because at first I was like, do I know a Vanessa? And why isn't she like in my phone? Right? If I knew one, why don't I have her number programmed? And then I read that last part and I was like, oh, this is a horrible thing. Nobody will fall for this.
It's so ridiculous, right? There's like, but here's the thing. Like I said, the reason why that even exists in the first place is because, like I said, it works with some people.
Somebody didn't realize that's clearly a computer that sent that out.
Like I said, at some point in time, like I said, I actually want to program a bot. Like I said, there's a couple bots that I've done in the past, right? But I want to program basically a text bot to where you can actually have basically a conversation with it, where it's kind of like Scott. Remember when was it me and you that basically had the conversation on LinkedIn where we were just sending the auto responses back and forth through each other? Yeah. So
yeah, we had the where you could just basically make a full conversation with that.
Yeah. So for people who don't know what we're talking about, right? So like I said, if you are in LinkedIn and there's basically, once you respond to someone, there's basically an auto response. So basically like you can like, hey, sounds good, or hey, we'll catch you later, or hey, that sounds fantastic.
They're like, congratulations, like it'll be like, thanks, like,
yeah, so
I appreciate it. Like there's different responses. Yeah.
So one day me and Scott basically had an entire conversation back and forth with just auto responses just to see how far we could actually take the conversation.
There was no end in sight.
No,
like we could keep going. I want to go into this because Jeremy, I love messing with people on texts. I love the wrong text. And there is a group of people, because occasionally I'll get a call to be like, hey, I need you to come pick me up, like from school, like text. I'm like, I'm not your dad. I'm sorry. Like your dad gave his kid the wrong phone number. So
real quick. Can we tell the story?
We'll tell the story of the Eddie from work. Okay. But do you remember Coach?
Yes.
So I'll have to tell you this story because the people online. But at one point, I got this message from somebody saying, it was like, hey, it's Coach. I'm going to need you to come to my office after school today. So I wrote back in my sarcastic ass self. I went, that's a no can do, Coach. Apparently I made Coach real mad. He's like, what did you say? Like, you need to come in like now. Like, I'm going to call your parents. I said, go ahead. They'll be real confused. And he's like, I called them. And at a certain point, I was like, this went on. Like me telling this guy, like, never saying I was not the right person, but implying that I was an adult and that I wasn't going to get in trouble for not showing up to the coach's office until he stopped texting back at a certain point. And then I was like, oh, did you finally figure it out? It's a wrong number? And the person was like, yeah.
You know
what was the other one I got? The political ones have been really fun lately. Those have made me very happy.
Dude, okay, so we were talking about before the stream, right? So like because of your absolute love of kind of fucking with people, like said via text message or voicemail, whatever, like that. I said you've actually inspired me to do the same. So as is, I said we're not gonna get into like political talk right here, but just for a slight second, right? So it's
a first.
Yeah, so it's a first, and it's not even like what you think it's going to be. So it's election season, right? So you have basically everyone's kind of vying for their candidates.
Here's the thing: they really think like if we like a text message will swing my vote one direction or the other. Like the idea that just texting me is going to make me like change my point of view is pretty ridiculous. And it shows just how bad like our voting system is.
No, it truly, like I said, like, right. And so I said I'll have to put. I think I'm actually going to post a screenshot of this. Like, say, actually, probably on our STS Guys channel. So it was a conversation I was having back and forth with. It was like the Democratic Party of Texas, and honestly, Democrat, Republican, whatever. Like I said, I would have done the same thing. I would have done the same.
Whoever sends it, it's fair game.
I would have done the same thing no matter who sent it, right? And
bitch, so, I don't know you. You're gonna get messed with.
Exactly. So the question is like, hey, can we count on your support for as I said, for Joe Biden for 2020? Are you gonna vote straight ticket, right? And I'm like, whoa, wait. Before we get into this, I'm like, I have a few questions first. ... I'm like, I thought it was just going to be a bot, right? Just because I'm like, because normally I said it's the spam things. No, apparently not.
It's a real person on the event line.
It's a real person on the event line. So I they responded back. Well, what questions do you have? So I'm like, okay, I have someone on the hook now. Now I got to ask like a decent question, right? So I'm like, what can I ask? So I started thinking and thinking. I'm like, I got it. I know what I can ask. So I respond back as fast as I can. I'm like, hey, before I really, make a decision one way or the other, I'm like, I can only decide basically who's going to be my president by which one does a Naruto run better than the other. I'm like, so what is I said? I'm like, what is Joe Biden's stance on the Naruto running? I get back a response, ? I'm like, so are you not going to answer my question? Response back. She's like, I don't know how to address that question. Let me look it up.
Oh, so she was like, she had a cheat sheet, and she was like, let's see if he runs like Naruto.
Yeah,
she had a Joe Biden cheat sheet.
Yeah, so they had like a cheat sheet, right, or like a talking point thing, like oh yeah, I'm gonna fund Social Security, or hey, I'm gonna I'm gonna do this or do that. Like I said, you could tell like said she was like Naruto run.
What does that even mean?
What does that even mean? So then I start like playing this entire scenario out in my head, right? So I'm like, is she like in like a call center right now, like just surrounded? And typically, I said like these, like I said, political volunteers. I said they're typically of an older crowd, right? So I said, is she just like in this like call center right now, asking anybody? Does anybody know Joe's stance on Naruto running? Come on, does anybody know? I got someone. I'm like, I think
I got someone on the line.
I think we can swing him. Like I said, if we talk about this Naruto run, And so she finally gets back to me. So she's like, unfortunately, I'm like, I can't address that. I'm like, okay. So I'm like, man, I gotta think of another question. I'm like, got it. I'm like, what about extraterrestrial life? Are we finally gonna open the gates to Area 51? Declassify. No response. I killed it.
Yeah.
I should have thought of something that was like a little bit stranger and a little bit crazier, and I'm like, I just couldn't. But yeah, at that point in time,
No, so you can't go too crazy because then they get off the line. Because see, I did one that was a little too extreme that I thought was going to get a response, right? Because they had one that was like, instead of endorsing like a candidate, they tried to do the catch me on an issue, right?
No.
And it was something dumb. It was like, hey, is extra money in your paycheck important to you? And so my response back to them was, is respecting people's privacy not important to you? And just to see what would happen. And yeah, I mean, I immediately killed it. So I was like, oh shit, I went too far with that one. Like you can't go too far. You have to lead them into the crazy shit. Right? Like,
yeah.
And to be like, what is Joe Biden's stance on acorns as an edible substance? Like, you gotta like get a like.
Damn it! See, like, okay, next time I get one, I say because like I said,
we'll collaborate.
We got to collaborate, and or maybe right, maybe I said maybe I'll just save. This is a show idea. We'll do it live on the air.
Right.
We can take the poll. I said we can take the polls from the audience, especially. Hey, what crazy questions should we ask?
What do I say back?
No, and honestly, like I said, it's one of those things, right? Like I said, regardless of like political affiliation, like I said, I would have done the same thing. Like I said, a Trump thing, right?
Can I say that Trump has some of the best text message things? I'm seeing if I can find this one. Give me a second, Jeremy. Talk while I try to pull this one up because I need to read this one verbatim that I got.
Well, and the funny thing is, right? So I keep on like getting like all sorts of crazy ones. So it seems like my spam lately has been, like I said, either like said political, like I said, I've gotten, like I said, from like the Trump campaign, the Biden campaign, and then I said I get the weird like hey, you can come have sex with me, like from like the emails. Like I get like a lot of these like text message emails, like of like, oh yeah,
so you've been doing some weird shit because all I get is the political ones and the do you want to sell your house? Like fucker, I just bought one. No, I'm not selling. All right, so I got it. Here's the also. This was a shocker to get in, not because again, we're not going to go into the politics, but the text message that was this: how can we trust Joe Biden to be president if we can't trust him around our kids? That was actually one of them where I was like, I'm going to leave that one alone. I'm walking away from that one. That was a doozy.
Yeah, at this point, right? I just want to hit the fast forward button. Like, let's just get over this. That way, we don't have any of this going on anymore. Let's just fast forward.
So Larry says he gets the text messages for his old house, right? The one that he's already sold. I can do you one better, Larry. I get one asking if I want to sell a house I don't actually own. There is a house that I have that apparently I think I know where it comes from, because I think like as part of like a family trust, like I'm listed as one of the people that in case like some people in my family die, I take over this house, right? So people are texting me like if I want to sell that house right now. I don't own that house. I have nothing to say, but I get every 3 days a text message being like, do you want to sell this house? Yeah, I'm going to sell somebody else's house
Scott,
to you.
Just sell the house, goddammit.
Yeah.
Just sell it.
I'm going to sell somebody else's house. Just watch them show up and the people that are living there right now being like, what's going on? like, oh, we own this house now. No, you don't.
Well, yeah. Well, like I said, I don't get for a house I don't know. Like I still get messages like, "Hey, I'm still interested in your property." Like I said, that you have, like I said, which is my old address, right? Which I haven't lived at for almost 2 years now, right? And I'm like, okay, yeah, just go forth and do it. Like, and the funny thing is, like I said, it just goes to show you that these are all bots, right? They're just like all auto. They're Autobots.
Roll out.
Roll out.
Yeah, and you wonder, they don't get a continuous feed, right? They bought a packet of information and haven't refreshed that information.
Exactly, right? Just because I'm like, if I can tell basically that house sold, and I don't own it, like if I like pull up like Zillow or Redfin or some shit like that, like yeah, I can tell that I said that I don't own that house anymore. It's been sold.
So Ed says, "Are you able to block text messages?" Yeah, I can block them, but it's a different number every time.
Every time.
Every time.
Well,
It's never they know never to do the same number again.
Yeah, it's every time. It's a different. It's a different. Well, then, like I said, I think, and this is what's like. I don't know why. Like I said, you're not getting these, and maybe it's just because like I said I'm just looking up weirder shit than you are, which is kind of surprising, right? Honestly,
Because if I Jesus Christ. I just dropped my phone. It's because when I look up weird shit, it's always in incognito on VPN. Like,
well, I got the same thing, right? Like, it's just, but apparently, like I said, I always get these random text message emails. They're always of like some type of like weird sexual nature, and they're always like, hey, click this link, and it's like this any type of link that you like I said, just looking at the link, like I said, like makes you like any like sane person would question, hey, I'm not going to click that.
My response to Vanessa,
I can't see that.
It's I responded back just to think it was funny. I put the tits or get the fuck out. Let's see what that response is.
Oh man. You're gonna have to keep us updated.
I will keep you updated on my conversation with Vanessa. This has got me into the point where I'm going to we're gonna see what we can get with Vanessa.
All right.
And maybe I got a great photo to show next week.
I said, Scott, I didn't tell you we were going to talk about this, but we can talk about this because I think this is relevant, right? I think the movie, like I said, the movies have been in the news a lot lately.
Oh yes.
There's been so we have some really great news. First and foremost, Bill and Ted coming out a week earlier now.
Yeah,
that's
buddy.
Fantastic. Yeah,
I cannot wait for some. I
can't.
Some things. I'm just reading the thing. Ed has some great things. I need to figure out a way to splice two text message chains so that when they text me, I can have that forwarded so I can get two bots to start to talk to each other. I need to figure out a way to do this. Ed gave me the idea.
I can help you. I can help you with that.
So before we get into the movie thing, Jeremy, I need to have a thing. What happened with the movie stuff?
Oh, so apparently, right? So like I said, my movie's order was completely ruined, and like I said was potentially going to die.
Salmonella.
Let me pull up my tweet to them. So
we're just going through like how do Scott and Jeremy's social media?
Yeah, like let me pull up my my Twitter, right? Where the hell is this at?
Again, I'm going to remind everybody who's in here. I am sorry. Like you guys are. We don't have a topic. It's just the two of us. We've been drinking. This is what we come up with when this happens. We're sorry to subject you to this.
So I'm going to share my screen real quick.
Okay.
So my movie's order was ruined, right? And so I tweet the company, right? Just because like I said, they have well first before I show
they have the worst.
They have the worst return policy, like or like refund policy. They basically say like they basically state if your food shows up spoiled, they're not responsible, no refunds.
I love how when you showed it too, I was like, did they pack an ice here? Like they put like a single ice pack in with raw meat.
Yeah.
To Texas. Like
exactly. So I'm like, you know what? I'm like everyone else kind of grandstands on social media, right? So I'm like, let me use this platform to my advantage. So this is what I did. Where is this at?
see. And I'm gonna narrate for this one so Jeremy gets it pulled up. We're losing attention here, Jeremy.
All right, give me 1 second. God damn it.
You've run out of time for the daily double.
All right, I got it.
All right, there you go.
All right. Well, because like I said, I have like 500 million windows open, right? So this was my response to them. So here it is. So I'm like, absolutely ridiculous. One small product. I'm like, hey, this came with a bonus item. Food poisoning.
E. coli, my best friend.
So then I said, they respond to me. They're like, hey, like, I'm like, stupid A word. So they respond to they're like, oh no, email this person. So they didn't hit the mute button in time. So they respond back to me. So I basically, so there's another person, a friend of the podcast that also got this, right? Same thing happened to them, but they didn't get offered a refund. So I got offered actually a full refund just because I Grant said it on social media. So apparently, like I said, if you bitch him on social media and tag him on it, it absolutely 100% works.
Well, see, here's what it is. It probably wasn't because the tag at Goldbelly. It's the fact that you also tagged Kevin Smith, I think, who's, I don't know, the owner of the, company that sent the food. I think that's probably where they're like, oh shit, he's gonna get mad.
Yeah, like I'm like the thermometer. I'm like I had to do it, right? So I'm like, yeah, that was my gold. That was my gold belly experience. So no movies pop up for me. I said I just ended up opting for the full refund just because if they didn't pack it right this last time, they're
not going to pack it right again.
Well, honestly, I don't have a whole lot of faith in it again. So I'm like, you know what? Let me just get my money back, and then I just will forego my cow tipper.
Yeah. Forgo it. You tried.
I tried. But you know what?
So let's talk about movies. All right. So it kind of to leads into let's go through, because you shared something. I know what you were going with it. You shared something earlier about the movies that we need to talk about, because I love the idea that this company's doing, and I think this is the way to save movie theaters.
Well, before we get to that, right? So let's talk. Like I said, we got to talk about why Bill and Ted was moved back. So do you know the reason why Bill and Ted was moved
don't
back?
know. So this is all news to me. Okay. I have not seen this. I have not gone on our power has been rolling brown out, so I have not actually been on the internet all day.
So the reason why I said it got moved back was because Disney Plus is dropping Mulan, like I said, on the original release date of Bill and Ted. So they didn't want to basically have it conflict. So they decided to basically bump it back to its original release date, which is that week earlier, which then provides a super interesting kind of like the movie industry is just like scrambling and dying right now. Like,
doesn't know what to do.
Well, I said, and honestly, both sides don't know what to do. So yeah, so Mulan is coming.
He said, yeah, Mulan dropping Disney Plus.
There's an asterisk to this Mulan dropping on Disney Plus. So the asterisk is it's dropping on Disney Plus. You have to basically buy it for $30, and you get to keep it, but as long as you retain your subscription to Disney Plus. So you have to be a Disney Plus member to even watch it. You have to pay the extra $30 to be able to own it, and then you only own it as long as you subscribe to Disney Plus.
So here's my question, because I think a lot of people ask us, what happens if you let your subscription lapse for like a month? Like the way it's written, they can actually pull it from you.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's dumb. Like that's the worst thing.
So
I get how Universal did it with Trolls, right? The $30 thing. I'm going to come back to Trolls 2, right? Because that was like the main case for how this works. It worked because you weren't already paying a subscription for the service that they're using. It was a flat fee, and you basically, it was the movies at home, right?
Yeah.
Flat fee, that was it. $30, you get the movie for what? And that one was actually for like 5 days or some shit like that.
Yeah.
But this one, I'm already paying $10 a month, and now you're telling me I have to pay another $30? $30. Now, if that thing comes to Blu-ray, I'm going to spend $19.99 on that Blu-ray. $23 if it's at Target, because they don't know how to price Blu-rays. Like, yet I'm gonna have to spend $7 more to get it streaming. Like, they don't know what they're like. What are you doing, Disney? What are you doing?
So so even Disney doesn't know what they're doing, and so now these theater owners are just like scratching their heads, like, what is going on? So, however, this has produced probably one of the most epic videos that has come out this week. So I'm going. This is a very screen share type of day.
Yeah, it
so,
is.
So this
again,
is
sorry, guys.
So this is a theater owner, basically, because this movie was supposed to save the theaters, along with Tenet and all these other movies coming back.
Wait, they were all like Mulan was going to save us?
Well, it's because it's a big tentpole movie, right?
It's that we've all already seen.
All right,
I'm not going to get into the whole Disney.
Share my screen. So share my screen, and let's
right.
watch what the theater owners thought about that. So they're in their lobby of the theater, and now they're destroying basically the Mulan signs because they're so pissed because this was supposed to happen. So they were supposed to basically release this to the theaters. Now this is one less movie that's going to the theaters where they're not going to get revenue for it.
For anybody that watches it, just search what was the title of the video?
Just
theater owner destroys Mulan.
Promotional artwork.
Promotional artwork. It's a guy taking a bat to one of those little like stands that you
cardboard
see
standees.
The cardboard standees that you see at the movie theaters. Like once you get your popcorn, you're walking down the aisle, it tees off, and at that tee, there's the little like cardboard stand that you can go take pictures with of the upcoming movie. He's beating the shit out of one of those with a bat.
Yeah. So, and here's the thing. I get it, right? But it's
Odin Pops brings some good thing. He has to throw it away anyway. He's just making sure it fits in the bin. That is true.
Well, and like I said, the theaters have to make money, right? And it's just, I don't think this movie theater experience is going to be anywhere near what it was in the past.
No one's going to go through. Like, at most, theaters are doing the whole, like, I'm going to call it checkerboard seating, right? Where it's like 2, then a gap, then 2, and then it's the opposite 2 on the next one down. Like,
well, you have that.
You can't fit to capacity, right? No one's releasing movies in the theater because they don't. No big studio is going to release a movie to theater that can't be at capacity because they're not going to make their money.
Exactly.
They're not.
And the second thing, right? Like I said, I don't think video on demand was viable before. Video on demand is way more viable now. One, because people have gotten used to it. But then two, like I said, I can have a really nice theater experience at home. Like I said, I have a 75-inch screen. Like I said that I can watch. Like I said that I can watch a movie on. Scott, I know you're in the same boat as I am.
I know. I got an 82-inch downstairs.
You have an 82-inch screen downstairs
and a 55 upstairs. So
I said you can basically recreate that theater experience at home, right? And so it's a matter of, like I said, these companies have to work together in some way. So that's why, like I said, I think AMC striking the deal with Universal was key, right? Just because Universal was saying, hey, you know what, we're going to release this on video on demand, but we'll give it a 3-week head start in the theater, which is, I think, is going to be an interesting experiment to see basically how many people actually end up going to the theater versus how many people just kind of wait for it to get home. I know that's going to adjust my whole movie kind of viewing schedule, just because I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait. I don't need to go to theater. I need to bring up this comment from Tyler here. I'll read it for audio people. In regards to your talk about the guy beating the shit out of the theater thing, Tyler says it's worse because that's from a theater in France where their theaters are open. Their theaters are open. It's just that Disney isn't putting Mulan in any theaters or in any country that has Disney Plus. So because US theaters aren't open, they're like, if you have Disney Plus anywhere in the world, you have to see Mulan. You have to do this $30 thing. So that does make it worse that theater's open. Like that thing, like you could go to there and watch a movie in that theater. Which is what I said, which is why he's pissed, right? So I get it. Like I said, I get it. I get why he's pissed, but like I said, I feel bad just because, like I said, it's like I said, it's just gonna be it's a dying art, right?
Yeah. Well, here's the thing: if you maybe don't charge me $9 for a handful of popcorn, and maybe we all have some sympathy for you, but you price gouging motherfuckers, like I'm sorry, like the prices of going to the movies is astronomical. I enjoy the movie theater. Like, I enjoy movies, but like the cost of it is retarded. And I don't use that term lightly, but it is retarded how much theaters cost.
It's absolutely ridiculous. And I think this now brings us to the point that I texted you about today.
Yes. That's a good segue.
It is a good segue. Look at that. Like I said, we said there's only two of us.
We're 40 minutes in and we actually planned something?
Yeah.
I'm impressed with the two of us.
I know, right? That's how it works. I think, hey, that's the whiskey, man. That's what
that's what we're
that's
drinking.
what the whiskey does. So I sent Scott and Larry a message earlier today, just because. So we're all moving from the great state of Texas, bingo square. Texas. I said, and I said, Texas is the home of Alamo Draft House, right? So that's, like I said, they had some Alamo Draft Houses out in Arizona, and there's a couple others throughout the country, but it's actually based out of Texas, right? And so one of the things that Alamo is trying, like I said, just because they're trying to basically figure out, like, hey, how do we survive this whole COVID thing? Like what can we do?
Well, this is a great idea, though. Because their idea is basically like, hey, do you want to try to make some money too? We can all benefit from this together.
Yeah.
I love this idea.
Oh, I think this is fantastic. So what Alamo is proposing is you could rent out and see any movie in the theater you want for $150. So you could rent out the theater.
So the asterisk on that, Jeremy, it's starting at $150. Starting. So I'm guessing new releases are going to go on the higher rate.
Yeah, new releases are on the higher range. However, though, like I said, but starting at $150, where you can rent out the theater for basically you and your closest friends
for one. But it's so okay. So you could always do that. Like a lot of theaters did it, where you could rent out and do like a private screening of a movie. Yeah. It just cost a shit ton of movie. Any movie, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, a shit ton of movie. Because like the theaters we see, like Harkins used to be able to do that, right? You could back in the day, like Harkins in Arizona, you could like rent the movie theater to play video games on their screen, which I always wanted to do. I'm kind of sad that we didn't get the chance to do that before we left. But yeah, any movie with caveats. There's most of them.
Yeah, so
but here's the kicker, Jeremy. I want to tell you not only when you rent out that theater, not only do you have a link, like a thing that you can give it for you and your closest friends, you also get a link that you can send for people to purchase tickets to your screening that you can send out to anybody. So you can actually have them buy the tickets and like reduce that cost for yourself.
Yeah, so you could charge to go and see your own personal screening. This is genius.
Yeah.
Like we hope. Like I said, I'm actually excited because I want to do this, and I think I want to do. Like I said, I was talking to Scott and Larry. I want to do this with New Mutants. Like I want to hold basically Texas-based screening of New Mutants for our podcast community here in Texas.
So we got Josh AAA Toys. I know that. Geek Together is all down here. So like we're gonna try to plan something. We'll get everybody together and like we'll try to set up the screening for New Mutants if you guys want to all go see it.
You can have beer at these private screenings.
It's Alamo Draft House, like draft house.
Yes.
They have a bar and you can. Okay, so can I talk about how ghetto Alamo Draft House is in their like ordering system though?
Oh, the paper?
Because, yeah. So, like, most of the theaters that you go to that have drinking have figured out you put a call button, like, in a plane on the seat, and then it lights up a little light somewhere that says, seat C4 needs something. And they come out and be like, what do you need? Like, I need more beer. And the lady gets you more beer. Alamo Draft House gives you a pad of fucking scrap paper. And you write what you want on it, and then like just kind of like wave it at until somebody gets it, and then they read it and hope they can read your handwriting, and then go get your thing. Like it is not that hard to put a little like button in a seat that says like please come here. Like Flicks Brewhouse has it, AMC's have it. How does Alamo Draft House, who basically invented the drinking in the theater game, not implemented that yet.
Well, that's one thing I've always questioned myself, just because, well, one, I said it's really dark in the theaters. Like one, I read like a toddler, anyways, right? Because,
I have serial killer handwriting. You've seen it, you know.
Like, I don't know how. I said I don't know necessarily how. Like I said, they're supposed to actually read my handwriting in the first place, let alone me like scribbling in the dark, like, oh.
I want beer.
I want beer and French fries.
Cheese fries.
Yeah, but it's weird.
Let alone if I try to write brisket, like I was
going, and then you basically put it in this little cubby at the thing, and
hope the dude sees that you have one.
Well, then you had the servers that almost do like a little Naruto run between the aisles, like
trying to collect your shit,
trying to pick up the orders.
Yeah.
But no, I am. Like I said, if anything, though, like I said, I am a fan of. Like I said, if this takes off, of where basically you can like create your own private movie screenings with people, I think that is a way to save basically the idea and the concept of a theater.
Yeah, this is going to be blasphemous because obviously Alamo is from ATX, right? And we're in ATX. I need Flick's Brewhouse to also do this because their beer much better.
Dude, have you been to Oh no, well, you haven't yet because, like I said, you've been.
I can't go. Have I been to that theater? No, I have not.
No. There's the iPick that's in the domain.
Yeah,
that one is very choice as well.
Yeah, that one. The iPick is good, but like I said, Flick's Brewhouse specifically for their craft beers. They have a Scottish ale that is, and you know I love me a good Scottish ale. So,
Scottish ale.
Yeah.
Movie house, eatery, and better food.
Yeah.
No, but like I think, like I said, I want to do this, and I think the very first
let's
thing
do
I want to do it. I want to do it with New Mutants.
Let's do New Mutants, and anybody like ATX folks, when we get it set up, we'll announce, hey, it's here. If you want the link, let us know. We'll get it set up for you. We'll do an STS Guys showing of New Mutants in Austin. It's only one of the theaters though. There's plenty of Alamo Drafthouse, but it's only one of them.
Yeah,
which is on like the best named street in
Slaughter Lane.
In Austin, Slaughter Lane, because
it's the nice Alamo.
It's the nice Alamo on the worst named street ever.
Which is funny because I think they're, like I said, it's an interesting test, right? Because they're testing it at this theater and then one other theater in the country, which is I think it's in Denver.
Denver, which makes sense why they'd have it in Denver.
Yeah. So
Patrick says he's down. Let's do it.
Yeah, we'll create a whole event, right? That's it. We'll do a whole event. We'll make it a whole thing, and I think it'll be basically like. We'll do some like, hey, the STS Guys break quarantine to go to the movies or something like that. We'll do some type of spin.
And it says that we can't actually stream the movie. That's true. But we should do like a vignette or something of us going to the theater that day. I think we should, or at least do some like pre-movie screen. Like, I don't know how long. Like when we rent the theater, like what's the earliest we can get in, and maybe we can do a movie stream, or can we keep the theater for a little bit after and do a stream after the movie and talk it?
A live podcast at the theater.
At the theater, just after we watch it, with everyone in the theater in attendance, do one big whole podcast thing. Like we'll have to try to set up something. Like this is just wishful thinking because we do that a lot. We're like, we wish we could do this, and then we try to do it, execute. We're like, oh, this fucking sucks. No, we're not going to do it. But Jeremy, you laugh because you know it's true.
I do know it's true.
Yeah. So it's 100%. Like live from Alamo or whatever. Like we're gonna try to set this up. We're gonna try to work this out so we can do New Mutants whenever that actually shows up, if it ever does.
August 28th.
Yeah.
What the funny thing is though, I've actually seen commercials. Like I said, it's the first movie I've actually seen commercials for. Since this whole shit started to happen, right? So it's
because they're like, fuck it, put that one in theaters and we don't give a shit.
Yeah. Which is funny. Like I'm really happy to do it.
And-
Worst case scenario,
and-
if they have crappy internet, do live on tape. Yeah, no, we'll figure something out.
We'll figure something out.
Like so we can set up a couple of hotspots with our phones. We can figure out something, right? We'll do something. It may be potato, but you know what? We'll make.
We're used to it, so it's fine.
We'll make the best of it. So what we'll do is, like I said, I have a nice camera. We'll set it up there. Like I said, we'll figure something out.
I can maybe use Jeremy and I's company's internet to act as a hotspot to do the upload.
Scott, that was my plan. I figured between me, you, and Larry, I said we got 3 hotspots.
We got 3 hotspots, and we got good. We got some good upload speeds. So
exactly,
we got top tier on that one.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you, company.
Thank you. All right, so we got like 10 minutes left. Well, is there anything else on your mind, Jeremy?
Anything else on my mind? Wow, you're leaving me open to this.
I am
open and blank slate.
Just throw something out there. Just throw something out there. Okay, this is really late, and we should actually probably spend more time on this. But if you haven't bought it yet, go buy Ghost of Tsushima.
So I still haven't bought it yet.
No, I don't want no excuses. Go buy that fucking thing right now.
I'm gonna buy it.
Do you want to play? Okay, so first off, like I playing it, you're like, this is a Kurasawa film, right? You think like I am 100% playing a Kurasawa samurai film. The fact of the matter is, you can go into the settings and turn on the Kurasawa filter, and it turns it black and white with the 8mm grainy ass like
what
film thing, and you can actually roll this whole game in a Kurasawa filter. Yeah.
Right. So I'm gonna have to go to the. I'm actually have to venture out and go to the store. Because it's.
Wait, one day before you buy it, just come over.
Okay, I'll
come over.
I'll come over.
And we'll load it up, and so you can check it out here.
Yeah, because it's on Amazon right now. It's 1 to 3 weeks shipping.
Yeah, no. So come over. You'll get you'll get to experience this thing. It's. Did you just try to screen share? What were you doing?
I was gonna buy it live.
Okay. But clearly we don't have a plan. Larry says, wait, where is it here? So, no, there you go. Where can we find you online? I think this is where Larry's going to try to test our drunk asses to do his shill. Right. So you can find us on Twitter and Instagram and basically anywhere at STS Guys, except for on Facebook, where we are at the STS Guys. Fuck it, I'm not even gonna I'm not gonna try to imitate Larry because I can't. If you want some good pops with the pop protectors and get all that shit, go to Shumi store. Use code STS Guys, save 10%. If you want a hat like this badass one or any other apparel that's really cool, go to Animated Apparel Company. Use that same code STS Guys. Get yourself 10% and free shipping.
It's the best.
It's the best. So,
and then if you like podcasts, go and check out all our friends' podcasts: The Four Dorksmans, Geek Together, Batman, or the Tyler G Show, Secondary Heroes, Talking Pops.
So
the Movie Rewind podcast. I'm sure I'm missing something else, and I'm sorry if I am. But yeah, check them out. I said we will all. I said we are all part of a giant good podcast network. We all support each other, so definitely go ahead and check out all the other podcasts.
Before we go, Geek Together brings up so you know someone at Facebook to get STS Guys for it. So that was taken by like. I'm going to say like a couple of fat guys, but that's kind of us too. So I hate to say it. Who had like 4 episodes of a really bad version. Like, I'm not saying ours is good, but theirs was worse than ours. The show, somebody else had an STS Guys that also stood for Shoot the Shit. Like, they had the same idea as us around the same time and took that one first. We got all the other ones. We couldn't get that one. But they're sitting on the name, and they would not give it to us. It is, I say it's bullshit, but yeah,
It is bullshit.
Somebody is squatting on the STS Guys Facebook link, so we had to go with at the STS Guys. It's utterly ridiculous. But yeah,
I'm watching. I'm watching.
We're watching for that thing to get dropped. So yeah, so at that point, that's my shilling like a villain. Honestly, I'm not even gonna pretend that I can do what Larry can do.
No,
he has a special gift for shilling that I just cannot.
Well, he also has a list too. Like I said, I should have written down a list.
I don't have a list.
I don't have a list.
When Larry gets to Austin, Totally Rad Movie Podcast, we're gonna watch Critters finally.
Oh,
Jeremy, you're joining? You joining
yes,
for Critters? All right, we're doing
Critters.
Critters 1. Critters 2 is probably the better one, but Critters 1 was the one that terrified me as a child, so that's the one that we're watching.
That's the one where they go in the big ball and start to kill everybody.
No, that's 2 is the big ball.
Yeah,
2 is the big ball. One is just like one family that actually gets like terrorized. So yeah, so we're gonna watch Critters 1. Manny says never do the last Critters. They're all bad. Like if you actually go back and watch Critters, none of them are good except for 3 that had Leonardo DiCaprio.
Strangely
in it. So
yeah, I forgot about that, Manny. I said,
and 2 had the play. Yeah,
I forgot about that.
2 had that and the big the where they all get in the big ball. Right.
Hey, cheers, Mark Leeper.
Mark, how's it going, man?
Man,
Manny says I like them all. They're campy fun, but yeah. All right, so let's go ahead and call this shit. Jeremy, do your thing. It's time.
All right. So thank you everyone for joining us for episode 144 of the STS Guys. I've been Jeremy,
and I'm Scott,
and we're the STS Guys. Have a great night, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Peace.
Peace.